Tasse bhagavato arahato sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Sabbeda sabbe sattesu hitaya che sukhaya che niyito akhilasu che ahu acchariyo jino. Happy Vesak to you all. A beautiful day, no? One of the occasion that a lot of happiness brought to the world. To understand that, we have to see we are part of the big system. We are affected by what is happening in this world. No? So when some people are born with different messages. So as we know, Buddha himself said that Gata said, the Buddha was born to help people to be happy. His heart always with compassion for others. If you ask like, what is my purpose? So I want to be somebody. You know, we all have our purpose of becoming who we are. No? So if you ask a Buddha, what is your purpose? He would say, I was born here to help people to be happy. So his whole heart full of compassion for us. In his daily program, he said the first thing he get up in the morning and he look at the world with compassion to see whom I can help today. Called Karuna Samapati. No? So it's very unusual. Even though we also had a good heart, but not every time. No? Little thing good. Today, okay? So today we are here just to be grateful, no? Isn't it the idea? Thinking that, you know, most of you, of course, do I want to go to this cultural reason, you know, because we are conditioned to do this, you know. And then something else I want to later talk. For me, this is not easy thing. To be grateful to someone, I had to be very honest. You know? For example, we're here to say thank you to Buddha. No? To say that is not easy. But of course, we teach our little kid from the morning, you have to say the right word. No? To anything, whether you like it or not, you have to say thank you. So I remember when I was a little kid, if somebody gave me a gift, if I don't like, you know, then I was to say thank you. Because we are taught to be conditioned, you know, because that's the right thing to do. Not necessarily what I feel. So I was told then what is right and wrong also given by somebody else. That's what we are now. So this Buddha's time, and we know there are two ways to respect the Buddha. No? One called Amisa Puja. That's what people do. I remember in Sri Lanka today is beautiful day. No? Even for non-Buddhist people, today is the great day in Sri Lanka. You know, all the lantern and people are very kind. It doesn't matter who they are, you know. Even the butchers are closed today. It's very peaceful. Wherever you go, everybody, all the food things, stalls, you know, very amazingly peaceful day. For a little kid, it's a very unusual. It's almost like a sudden transformation, whole country. Very hardly you see anything bad or anything, everybody very kind. In the morning, we see little people go to the temples. It's like a butterflies in the morning, carrying the white cloth and beautiful flowers. Wow, what a sight. And when I think about being away from Sri Lanka, if I ever miss anything, that's the only thing I miss. So it's very beautiful. That's our way of saying thank you. No? It's called Amisa Puja. But Buddha said that is not good enough. And we had to pay respect differently. Called Patipatti Puja. No? You know what that means? By practicing. Yo Dhammam Passati, so Mam Passati. If you want to see me, he said, see what I have to tell about it. That's very interesting. Why did he say that? Because if you want to respect someone, you have to know what that person is, what that person means to you, no? What he has done for you. Isn't it? Otherwise, how can I say be grateful? But we know the opposite part. When we are angry with people, we know exactly what they are. And the moment when you see that person, we can see, we can't get alive and anger coming up. But when somebody done good thing, if you meet, it's very hard to remember whether this person has something to learn. So Buddha didn't want us to do this. He wants you to respect different way. He said, it doesn't matter whether you bow to me or not. But if you can understand something, which I had to say, if it benefits to you, I'm happy with that. And I was telling this gentleman who driving me here, and I had to do these things, study all the other religions, cultures, for my personal reason. This is a very unusual statement Buddha made. No other teachers would ever say that. They all want to follow me, listen to my teaching. This is the only way. Understand? I mean, nothing wrong with that. That's there. But here there's somebody, he didn't want you to do that. And that's very unusual. He said, don't worry about me. Just listen to what I have to say. And this very important part in Buddhism. There was a story about a venerable Sariputta. No? Have you heard? Buddha's two chief disciples. If anybody knew who was a Buddha, he would be one of them, Sariputta Hamdru. One day, Sariputta Hamdru sitting next to him was very happy with him, Buddha. By the way, certain thing I'm going to tell you, you may not happy, okay? But I'm telling with good intention. So don't take it personally, okay? This is my way of understanding things. So the Sariputta Hamdru was so happy one day for whatever reason. He said, oh, Buddha, you this and you and that. Buddha said, Sariputta, don't talk like that. You don't know me. You talk about the past Buddhas, future Buddhas, power of Buddhas. I think then Sariputta said, stop. And then he said, sorry. Then he said, okay, Buddha wants you to tell something that really make what you said makes sense. And he said, oh, when I think about it, what you taught us, very beautiful. That's a good thing. Not about me, what I taught you. If that is good, that make beautiful, talk about that. You understand? Who would say that? I mean, even if somebody talk about me, I'll be very elated, no? Knowing is a little bit of a whatever. We love that. somebody is sitting and talk about how great you are, but Buddha didn't want us to do that. This is interesting. Why did he say that? What's the wrong with telling, listen to me, follow me? What's the wrong with that? Just think about it. It has a very deep reasoning. What is the opposite to respect someone? That's the best way. To be ungrateful, no? Isn't it? And that's what to come. Buddha sees something very interesting there. Okay? Think about two words, okay? When we say respecting, other one is not disrespect. When we don't, to respect, we have to be grateful. To disrespect, we not being grateful. Okay? Those two dynamics are very important in life. When the Buddha said that, he said, follow Dhamma means, where is the Dhamma? He said, if you want to respect me, follow the Dhamma. Okay? Not me. Because when Buddha said that if people respecting me without knowing the Dhamma, it's not very genuine. It doesn't come from the heart. It's very empty, and that's not good. We learn to be ungrateful in a way. Because when you say something we don't know, when you really believe in someone, it's not very good, is it? It's a type of ingratitude. At least you have to keep quiet. But we are conditioned to say something, And then doing that, we become very reinforce this sense of ingratitude. And this ingratitude in Buddhism, very important psychological problem. Okay? And so when the Buddha said that, the reason why he was telling, he has a lot of compassion. When he said, don't follow me, just listen to the Dhamma. Okay? But he saw people are suffering. Remember the reason why he left home? You must have listened to that. Buddha said, Jati, Jara, Vyadi, Marana. These are phenomena we all experience from the birth to death. That's our life. We keep on going, somehow or other navigating through it. Whatever we think, we just go along with that, no? But Buddha saw this process, a lot of pain. People are, when we start with that rut, we don't realize how painful it is. Buddha was not talking about anything wrong with the world. The world is perfectly okay. But he realized there's some problem there. Like when you go through this process, we try to deal with that process as we know about it, how we are taught how to deal with it, isn't it? We don't know any other way. We're learning from. So that's how we become a victim condition. So each condition tells you, this is the purpose of your life. This is what you are. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to say thank you. No. Like when you go to a television programs, people sitting here and they're laughing, sometimes clapping. Do you know how they do it? Because they're taught how to do it. It's not a genuine. When somebody says, now it's time to laugh, everybody giggle at. And we are like that. Buddha saw this. From the birth to death, we are, even who give us a name? Do we have a choice to choose our name? When I'm working in the America, some people want to change their name. They don't like it. And they go to default and they change it. I said, what's wrong with the name? It doesn't sound very good. But it's just a word. Because they saw how much they identify that word. But that is true, isn't it? That's how we feel, our name, how it sounds, and how the people are responding to us. Can you see that? So everything Buddha saw, we are conditioned. We are trapped. We do everything what we are supposed to do. Good or bad, happiness, unhappiness, everything we are taught like that. If we happen to be in that situation, how do you feel? And this is what the Buddha taught first time. When you see the jati jara, it's not the birth, this is the process of life. People are happy. They do whatever when we got what we are supposed to have, we are happy, no? If you're born into a good family, good culture, if you're handsome, isn't it? If you're healthy, if you have good education, if you work in the right place, live in the right country, like what you're doing, you don't like beautiful paradise in Sri Lanka, you come to this desert. I mean, this is desert. You know, that is a real paradise, where you go. But we don't see that. Listen, that's it. Don't be offended me, okay? But you think there's everything here. The certain things you do here, you won't do there. Even any job you will do here, no? Even, sorry to say about medical doctors. And when in Sri Lanka, I have seen very closely, when the doctor comes, everybody bowing, very respectful. No? But here, doctor has to go and open the door for you. You do very happy that one. But in Sri Lanka, if a poor patient look at you or something, can't even see his eye. But that's a conscience. But the same person who come here, they happily go that way. Can you see that? So who are we? This is the Buddha's question. I'm trying to show how his compassion comes here. He said these people are born and we're struggling to make us happy as the way we are taught. But he used ultimately one word. He said, I want to see Nibbana. The first beautiful definition Buddha gave us for the Nibbana. Simply it means I want to be without attachment. He said attachment, he said, I'm conditioned, I'm trapped. And the same, I have no way out of it. Nirvana, I want to be a few seconds, how to be without attachment. That's the first definition. And you can straight away see this. When you sit here, we have in life, how long you can sit with yourself. Mind is continuously run after things, isn't it? After 1 second you can. You might sit here, 100 hours, but your mind is not here. It's not, I'm not talking about the city. It's very easy to learn how to sit. You know, people think I can sit 10 parts. I mean, it's very good training, you know, but that is not about the Buddha's idea. How to keep the mind without running after even 1 second. Very difficult. But I don't want to go deep into this, why it has a good reason why we do it. But that process, Buddha was suffering. Because having to just imagine, if you can't be without attachment, depend on something, how would you feel? You know, it's nothing to do with the things you attach. Nothing wrong with that at all. Buddha never say anything like that. It's not, Buddha was not questioning the quality of what we attach or not. That's not the issue. The issue is, I can't be without attachment. And that is what the suffering. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So don't blame external thing. Yes, of course, I guess I'm not happy with that. That's not the what issue here. They're practical part. Even if you have everything what you want, that very fact that I had to depend on that, I can't be without attachment to that, that is a suffering. You have to experience it rather than blaming. We are conditioned to believe oh, I'm not happy because of I don't have this or this. Only pinpoint to the other thing. But we don't realize that is not the suffering we're talking about. The suffering is not being able to be without attachment to something. And he saw that. He saw within himself. Even though look at in his life, he was a beautiful, handsome young man, prince, beautiful wife, children, everything. He was not old. He was not sick. Nothing. But he saw this process, what you're seeing, I can't be without this thing. Then I say, I want to look for Nibbana. He want to look for a technique how I can be without attachment. And he knew the worldly life, give everything, what we want, make it happy. But that is not happiness from the Buddha, because happiness can't, if it's a happiness that depends on something, it can't be real. Because you're afraid, what happens if that is gone? So that happiness comes with the big price. It's always tainted with suffering, even if you've got possibility of losing it. There's lots of things you can see clearly. You can have everything. You know, we know that. There's not the issue here. But the issue is that I can't be without attachment. And that's what you call Nibbana. So he went to different teachers, and they were beautiful people. But they, with the realize, even they don't have the solution here. But they help us to be out of this suffering. That's what we all doing. No? We know everything's impermanent, suffering, painful. Then we hope one day there may be another place somewhere. No? Isn't it? Because we still operate in the same model here. Model is for us to be happy, doing and having things. That's how we look at ourselves. Very famous psychologist, psychoanalyst, Eric Fromm, he wrote a book. You should read called To Be is to Have. We always define who we are in terms of what we have and what we do. That's what how we see. That's what the Buddha also saw. Pratyajana. What the Pratyajana mean? Pancha upadana khandha. Those who define themselves in terms of what they have. That's upadana. I am what I have. That's what the Buddha said. And this my being is depend on having. But that is suffering. Understand? This is the very deep-rooted suffering he's talking. You know, other suffering, but all the other suffering we can deal with, you know, not having a life or not being alone, whatever, all those things, practical things, there are ways to deal with it. But this, nobody has a solution. Okay, but it's a very deep-rooted, very consuming suffering. So that's what the Buddha, when he left, already his heart was touched by compassion. To himself first, he realized, goodness me, I am in this state, I'm suffering. You know, I'm frightened, living with a tremendous fear. Fear of losing what I have, how I'm going to keep what I got, how long I'm going to be healthy, young. And this all keep coming. They're there, all in us, boiling down. That is why we struggle into go after hoping something will make us happy. But we don't pay attention to that deep-rooted real reason. It is that deep-rooted reason which drives us. I mean, it's like a panic. When you're panic, you can't think about what I'm panic. You have to go. It's very interesting. Our all human behavior also conditioned. Have you heard a thing called perceived threat? Very interesting. Our biologically, this is Buddhism I'm talking about, the Buddha saw here. Biologically, we are this, our system recognize threat to us. The moment we see the tiger coming, already our system reacts, producing a lot of cortisol and go. Okay, because we are threatened, and then when the tiger gone, we feel calm. We can do the same thing by thinking. You don't need a tiger. You can sit here, you can think about that, and your body react exactly the same way. And this is what the Buddhists are trying to tell you. If you're living with that deep-rooted fear, you don't realize you're biologically reacting as if you are being constantly being threatened. Understand? We don't see that. But it's a natural reaction. So internally, we are reacting continuously, being, I am threatened. Because if I have what threat means, what you're going to lose what you have, isn't it? So simple. So if you keep on telling yourself, what I have, what I am going to be threatened, how would you feel? Your poor body reacting as being, you are being threatened. Now you can see, no wonder we are sick, no? Because the cortisol is the most dangerous poison to burn our guts. Understand? So this is the suffering with the soul. You know? He said, this is not good. So he want to look for solution for them. And that is why he left and looking. Finally, he claimed he has found it. But unfortunately, he said what he found is not everybody's plate. You know, he realized that. He said a very beautiful Gata. He said that under Bhutto ayang loko anuket vipassati. Very beautiful. You know? This we are blinded. We have no ability to see things as they are. You're driven by, as I said, conditions. So how to be free from conditions? If you imagine that I'm in this situation, I'm suffering, if inside, you want to be free from those things. No? But that's not easy. It should be at all. So what he said ultimately, he found out this message that he tried to give not going to be everybody's one. But regardless that he is unfortunately, our life is, as we've been conditioned, is a process going life after life, as we've been conditioned. And it's unfortunate the way we are here, human life, we are already in hell, isn't it? Even we say, if you look at this very moment, how much suffering, killing each other going on. And even we are living in this beautiful country, we don't realize it. We're already creating nuclear plantation, submarine thing. Why do we do that? Inside, we had a lot of fear. But that's fear based on one thing, because the way we look at ourselves is not correct. That's the Buddha's find. That is where the solution comes. We have to change the way we look at ourselves. Buddha shows us this very beautifully. I tell people this very simple technique. You just go and look into the mirror every day. What do you see? But you have to be honest with that. Do you like what you see? I don't know about you, I don't. You may be, I'm not up to that level. I always find something not good. If everything good, they still have to, I'm not saying like other people. Just recently, I was going through some, accidentally, I found a photo when I was in Malaysia. Another monk took me to this because I was I'm talking of suffering here, okay? That's why my gratitude to come him. When I talk, I will tell later if I had the time who helped me to get out of a little bit. Not at least to see what the hell I'm going through. And I was the first or second one be the head of that temple. There's another Sri Dashma, and I just roaming around, they want me to stay there, and I became abbot there. So they said, oh, we need to keep the every abbot's photo in the temple. So he took me to this photographer and he took the photo and he sent me a copy. Oh, Bhante, look at your beautiful person. Then I said, and when I reasoned, I couldn't believe, goodness me, who is that? And I went in the mirror, I thought, that can't be me. Looks like a Buddhist character here. And it's really made me a little bit disturbed for a while. I couldn't figure it out who I was. So I didn't like what I see. I want to be like that. And I'm quite sure at that time I wouldn't like that either. Then I would compare to somebody else there. So I can see it and figuring out who am I then? And when I saw, God, there's a lot of pain here. Where we go, we are not happy. The way we look, not happy. What we have got, not enough, no? And even the Dhamma not good enough. Now we are comparing. Everywhere, no? That's why we become different religion. And then we become according to that religious view. And then religion tell us who we are, what is good and bad, what will happen to you after death. And then you come to another religion, they will tell different story. Isn't it? Even among the, I'm sorry to say, even in your Buddhist tradition, how many Buddhists, they all claim it's a Buddha's teaching. But if the Buddha saying, why this, even among the Thero tradition, the what I call, I'm a horrible person, I'm telling this, you all have your own pet monks also. Yeah, you're promoting them, bringing here. And then there's he had the pure Buddhism. Then I wonder what is pure Buddhism and impure Buddhism? If Buddhism is Buddhism. I mean, it's one thing to say, like I do, I tell I'm not talking Buddhism, I'm telling my view. Yeah, I'm free to say what I think. I'm struggling to understand things. I'm going to say that's Buddhism. And we are free to do that. You understand? That's Buddha himself encouraged us. That's the your Dhamma path. You follow a teaching, not me. But that is not what you're saying. You see how we're trapped here, what I'm trying to say? It's not a good or bad, that's what we are. So whatever we believe, we want to promote that. We didn't realize that what is happening to us, we are being completely conditioned being. And I was telling this gentleman in the America, I don't know whether you know, how much election going to be determined depends on how the president candidate dress. And there are special dressmakers who do that, yeah. People know that, but we still get trapped there. Because what we see, Sanya Nidhanam, there's a very beautiful teaching with the veil. We don't see things as they are. We see things, this is pure science, the way we've been conditioned. See how trapped we are. We have no our own perception of things. Even to see things. It's a mind-boggling thing, it's to understand, but we don't know, I see what it is. No. You don't see. You see what you've been taught, conditioned to see. And that's how, this is what I call samsara means. See the painful situation we are in. So what the Buddha taught us, Dhamma, where this Buddha is within you. That's very interesting, isn't it? Vyamatam bhikkhave kalaivaras. Within this fathom-sized body, he said everything. Suffering, freedom, and highest happiness, nibbana, are all within. He said Dhamma is not outside. If you want to say Dhamma, you had to look within. And the Buddha and the Dhamma are the same. He said, when you see Dhamma, you see me. Is I am the one who realized who I am. Not talking about other people. He said, I became awakened to that, my true nature. When you see your true nature, you realize what I'm talking. You see me. You understand what I'm saying? What you awaken within, this is how the Buddha was. That's what he was talking about. That's how I say. Buddha nature is right within. But what is happening, we are not allowed to see that. Because that true nature being bombarded with all those conditions. So if you want to see it, true nature, we had to undo those things almost. That is a very big process. Many human, this is my field I'm working, all to be free from suffering, we had to undo many problems. Problem that we created. It's not outside. And we call conceptual purification. See, with the course, Ditti Visuddhi. First part to this one, he said, you have to purify your view. So when you go home and look at yourself, how you see yourself, do you really see who you are, what you are? You'll be surprised. Unfortunately, you're not. All you see being conditioned, and particularly when I deal with little children, and they are angry sometimes with the parents because parents don't give what they want. And they come to me to help them a little bit. Then they said, I want this, I want. I said, why do you want it? Tell exactly why you want it. Then eventually, because my friend James had that. I said, no, this other way, why you need it? They can't find. They're always telling me because somebody else has that. Or it's the latest model. They said, if you can tell me exactly why you need it, we can negotiate it with your parent. You see, it says, why don't you go home and find out something you really need? You can't. But can you blame that poor kid? No, because that is what we are. We always see ourselves in terms of others. And of course, sanya, nidhana, papanchasana, that's how we see. But that is a biological thing. We can't see any other way. Our perception is that. To perceive something, we have to see things as a different. Otherwise, we can't go through. Understand? That's how how the perception works. You have to see things, then I can go through it. So when you do that, what happens when we compare? You see, naturally. Do you follow what I'm going to say? To see something, we have to see it different, separate. And then straight we start to compare. When you compare what happened, you know what is happening straight away. Either we are better or worse. There's no other way. Doesn't matter how far we go, it's always something above us. That's another reason what the Buddha discovered. This atta, sense of I, constructed from that. Seeing I am different. For me to survive, I had to. Listen, we all had to see that we are all different. The moment we see different, we compare. Ultimately, we compare with our own photo. That's of the perception. And it always end up in seeing, if not real, possible downfall, inferiority. Do you know how dangerous this is? People think the Buddha make a very philosophical fight with the Hindu. No, he was talking about a very deep-rooted self-harming problem there. Thanks to a lady who got the Nobel Prize, we know what it is now. Elizabeth Blackburn, she found out the telomere thing. You don't have to go detail. It's a biomarker. He said one of the reasons is, by looking at, you can tell the person's age, death, illnesses, what. And she want to find out what are the one of the cause that make it telomere shorter. Low self-esteem. There you are. And my question, who hasn't got that? So we already have inbuilt self-destructive element there. When you compare, it shortens nothing. We don't need the bugs. It's equally harmful. That's why the Buddha talk anatta, dangerous. When you say I am different, I'm in trouble here. Because I'm always going to see I'm inferior. Understand? So this is the dukkha, suffering, with all our own creation. And Buddha saw, instead of blaming other people, why? He saw the real problem. The way we are, our perception is like that. So we deal with situations, okay, as we see things. We respond to things as we see. Okay? And how we see depends on our level of perception. We can't go beyond that. And according to that perception, we are built and we are physical thing. Life to be is to be happy, to have and do things. If that is a model, you have no way out of that. Then you always look at in terms of how you look like, what you have got, what you don't have. Isn't it the truth? Who is safe from that? Don't pretend that nobody, as I know. We may be pretending, we are monks and Buddhists and whatnot, they're all fat lie as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. It's a different way of looking at it, that's all. We're still looking at ourselves in terms of what we have. We look at this different cultural thing. Always this self-image is different cultural thing in terms of what we have. Everybody is in trap. Of course, it doesn't mean there are no good and bad things. It's a relative thing. And then Buddha came to the world, he said, Naisilavatang hetu upajjandita tagata. He said, I'm not born here to tell you what is good and bad. That's a very strong statement. He said, I came to explain the meaning of 3 words made of 8 characters. One of this, what you talk, anatta. He said, I'm here to explain that. Nobody even dream of what is hell is. Everybody, good and bad, depend on how we deal with it. It's all to do with physical thing. Everybody has to, even animals know that. Okay, but this part now you can see how to get out of this level. So he saw this level of our relationship with the world, response all based on how we see it. Very interesting, no? In the field of science, you can see this very clearly. In the early days, we had the classical physics, law, natural, all very predetermined, very nicely. It's called what you call if you hit the ball, it goes like a thing. All conditioning, very interesting. Say, no mystery. And then all suddenly, scientists discover the quantum mechanics. It's become horrible. Then the people like Einstein, he said, these are hocus pocus. Yeah, this happened. He said the word's called God doesn't play dice. It's not talking the God, it's a nature, all set. Everything predictable. Understand? So now quantum is not that. When you go to different level of the particle, they behave completely weird way. And Einstein is spooky. And he was so angry He got three other people, Ross and Bell, create a model to disprove that. He said, this should not allow here. This is blasphemy. And ultimately, they end up with proving that. Okay, because at the quantum level, things work in the Vesak. They know, you don't know what happened. They're a very beautiful world to go into, if you're interested in that. But anyway, finally now, the question is now, is that the end? If you look at this in Buddhism, you can see that the what level you're looking at it. That particle theory correct. If you look at the microscopic level, it's correct. They're solid. But we don't realize these are made of sankhara, Buddha said. They're construct. If you take one construct out of whatever, and you go deeper into that, then you begin to see different reality there. That's what I call subatomic particles. They behave completely different to this level. So if you look at this way, we can deal with. So you can deal with what you perceive here. But if you go to another level, quantum level, you can't do this thing. You understand? So what you deal with things depends on what level of reality you see. Now the question, you think the nature is limited to now quantum physics? No. There are many more other laws out there. Nature. And Buddha called it Panchanyama Dhamma. And he saw the first two very clearly. Bijanyama, he saw that. Utunyama, that means Bijanyama, biological thing. And he said there are other three. At least we know that biological, we know social and psychological. But there are two other more law souls involved in this world. Kammanyama and Dhammanyama. Also that law, Dhamma means the law of nature. That's also anicca. Understand? So he saw these things. A bit trapped human beings are. No wonder he felt compassion. How are we going to get out of this mess? But he said the first thing we had to realize that this level we are living, nothing wrong with that. But it's limited. Okay? Blaming the spitting at no good. It creates a vibhavatana. You create a self-destructive attitude. But you have to, this is limited here. Because this is what we account our perceptual level, this is what we see. And that model is to be happy, have this, do this. It's okay. But if you get obsessed with that, you miss out a lot of suffering there. And you have to change that level of perception. And when you keep on doing it, you begin to see we are very beautiful, unique being. And this is what I like little children to understand. This life is not just only this. In this art, as much as we are enjoying learning, doing this and that, we are more within ourselves. We have to learn to awaken those inner potential. And one thing I tell the children to practice, look at mind part. Okay? The mind, nobody can see. No? It's real. Even science, we accept that without any doubt. But we still don't know what it is. Still struggling to say it may be brain processes, but we don't know yet. But is it there? That means a part of the reality. Okay? But that part of the reality, we are the only one who had access. Physical part, we all can study that together. But when we come to this part of the mind, it's not my mind or your mind, it's a part of the nature. And that part of the reality, only one person had access. He said, if you realize that, it's not a joke. Chittena niyati loka, and that part of the energy is what runs the whole world. Buddhism, science knows that the mind has a strong effect. As I said, look at the perceived threat affect us. We don't need the tiger. We can create our own enemy straight away thinking. Understand? That's because by our mind, we can manipulate the physical world. So we are living in a very dangerous situation. If you don't know how to understand this mind and direct it, we are our own enemy. And that's what the Buddha saw. Having this power, not knowing what is how to delegate, we are in big trouble here. And that's why for the whole listening, you can see that. Who is destroying it? Who is creating? It's our mind, beautiful mind. And that's why Buddha said, Dullabhanchaman Satta. No? This, to be born as a very rare thing. It could go either way. Understand? And that is what happening. So Buddha saw this thing. When he saw that he is a human being, so big, trapped here. And how to be free from this? And he said, that also within us. And he said, Tummehi kichangata, but he is not going to take us with him. He showed us the way. Okay, that's all he would do. The way he said is not even his way. He said, right within you. Only thing actually, to be honest, he showed, go and sit. That's all he told. You know, this whole other thing felt lie. He said, you go and sit. Then you look within, you'll see. Aranyagatuva, Rukamulagatuva, Sunyaga, find a nice place. Palang, Junkayang, Panimugang, just observe. That's all he said. All the other things we created. Why he said that very beautiful, the compassion. How could anyone know your pain? You're going through aches and pain. No? Can anybody see that? You can explain to other people. No? It has no meaning, the empty word only. Whatever word you use, how do you know your pain? You get what I'm trying to say, aches and pain. Just take that very practical part of that, let alone any other thing, enlightenment or all the other stuff. We can't, that's why Buddha said, Sariputta, you don't, you see me. Understand? How can, nobody can do that. You get what I'm trying to say? You are the only one who has access to your own mind. You are the one who had to say, but what you see is you have to live with it. Nobody can know what it is. But now we are very smart with telling even let alone the aches and pain. I like to find somebody who can tell me exactly how I feel. You know, I like one of your great monks to tell me about that. But they would give me a talk about a Nibbana. You know, this is what we all doing that. We go to everywhere. Okay? Buddha said, Bahunge saranang yanti pabbatani vanhani cha aramurukaja, we are thrilled by fear. And so we go anywhere, rock or where we find and whoever can tell us fat lie, we go there. Because we are desperate. We want to be free from this. We don't know how to do about it. So we go wherever you go, mountain, rock, Buddha said, hoping somebody will salvage us. Isn't our hope? We don't know how to do it. So we want someone to do for us. But this is one thing Buddha said, I'm sorry. How can I do anything? Even I don't see it. There's a beautiful Mahayana teaching. It said the one person came, monk, went to the master, show me how to purify my mind. And the master will give it to me. I will do it for you. You understand what he's trying to say? So nobody can do that for you. You know, nobody even tell about what the hell it is. And that's the only thing he would say, Nibbana means try to be just simple thing I can see. We can't be without attachment. Try to be few seconds, be free from that. That's all he said. And how to do it, he said, you just go and sit under the tree and see for yourself. But the beautiful thing is you begin to see you are completely transformed. That very observation transformed. That's what happened in science. Scientists were not looking for quantum mechanics. They were just observing deeply particle. According to the model, we know. The more they observe that, they began to see it. Understand what I'm saying? They were not telling that. They weren't looking for it because they're there already. But you had to start with level you know. That's what the Buddha taught us. This level we know. Okay? How I feel, what I'm thought keeping. Satipatthana said, this my body, how I look at my body, what is my reaction when you see that, you can straight away, you feel. You look at your body and next thing you see it, first the kaya, you see the body. Vedana, you straight away you're feeling. Then you can see what produces that feeling, Chetana. What I'm thinking, what produces, what the thing, Dhamma, the condition. Already you see the four things straight away. Can you see what I'm trying to say? You look at your face, body, kayana. Okay? So when you look at that, your feeling comes, no? Chetana, Vedana. And then Vedana produced by your thinking. Already there. And then you understand why am I thinking this? Because I've been conditioned. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at myself, I've been taught. You see whole thing straight away. And when you go deeper into that, at the one level of that, but then Buddha said, you begin to awaken to different level of reality. Because the nature, everything, this little thing has a different level of reality. Everything, every particle has different level of reality. But what part of reality you're going to see depends on how you look at it. But it different require different instrument. This level of perception is very beautiful to learn to deal with this world, how to navigate through it. Vipassana doesn't help you to drive a car. Don't try to practice Vipassana while you're driving. Some people are told you have to practice mindfulness while you're driving. That's not the Buddhist mindfulness. That means pay attention. That's not the mindfulness. Okay? Mindfulness is going to the laboratory and looking deeply. You're only observing that one. You're not looking around you. But if you're driving, you have to be careful all around. Okay? They pay attention. That's totally different thing. Because many of us, we can't even do that. Let alone the mindfulness part. To do mindfulness, you have totally different awakening. Okay? Sati Indriya, you have to awaken that first. Buddha himself said that. It's not there, it's faculty there, you have to awaken. So you go and when you do this, you begin to realize, wow, this life is amazing. What you're going to see within yourself. But unfortunately, we are trapped here. Our perception doesn't allow us to go beyond that because that perception controlled by conditioning. That conditioning means we are taught here how to be is to have. We operate in that particular paradigm. Unfortunately, we had to question that paradigm. Question means to discard it, to see limitation. How far it can help me. Yes, it can help us to be happy here. But it has tainted with suffering. But we are not supposed to be. We can be free from even that suffering. And we go deeper and deeper, we awaken in this manusal beautiful thing we're going to discover. Potentials are unlimited. Buddha said, like a wind coming so many directions, he said about the pain. Normally we think we had a little bit of aches and pain. He said there are more. Dhram is a sukha, happiness of being detached. People don't even dream. Normally, see, our models here, to be happy is to have, no? From that point of view, not to have is suicidal. You cease to be. Can you see that? It doesn't allow us. It models say to be mean, we had to be someone. We had to be beautiful, we had to be handsome, we had to be productive, that model. But if you say, no, I don't want all those, you mean you know where you're going to land there. That model says, don't go there. It's dangerous path. Okay, when people heard Buddha was telling, he was banned to come to some villages. He said he completely misguided these young kids. They're taken away from home. They want to be in home and be productive, be happy. But this guy taking them away and completely different. So this is what happened. It's not other people. Our mind also telling that. Okay, but to do that, you have to get the right view. It's not denying. Okay, this level is beautiful level. It has a limitation. But use that level to go a bit deeper. That's all what Buddha tried to say. Then we awaken to many levels of reality within this beautiful being. Okay, enormous happiness. Yes, we can be happy with having, but happiness detachment also has a beautiful pleasure. Amanusirati hoti. That happiness, Buddha said, people who attain can have no even comparison. These are the people who experience telling. Okay, they are not fools. Once they renounce, when they start there, when they see that. One monk tell, when I see, yato yato sammasati kandahanang udayabhyang tabati piti pamokang amatang. So when I see these things coming and going, anicca, the happiness, pleasure I get, unbelievable. But for us, that's the last thing we want to know. Things are changing. Isn't it? Be honest about it. I don't. We want to see as things are the way we want it. But people who attain that level, they say, wow, when you see reality, each level of perception lead to different level of reality, each going to give us a little pleasure. So life is very beautiful from the Buddhist point of view, okay? But unfortunately, the way we live, we are not really even seeing how beautiful it is. That's why Buddha said, the life we're living is suffering because you're so stuck. But inside us, there's a beautiful urge to be free from that. When you meditate, you realize that it's not this world is bad. I want to be, it's like a lotus, what I call, try to come out of this mud. It's not running away from the mud. The lotus need the mud. Without the mud, lotus can't survive. But it doesn't want to always hit by the mud either. So you will get a balance. You want to come out of this mud, live in it without being stayed. It's a beautiful path the Buddha has shown us. Okay? But it's not something you can just go listen to it. You had to, with all what the Buddha tried to tell us, right within us. But unfortunately, the way when we start look at all we see, all the how ugly I am, I'm miserable, I don't have what I want, nothing but all going to come out. None of those things Buddha was telling. Look, all damn misery only that. And a lot of people say, when I want to get out as soon as possible. Nibbana. And another blasphemy, a lot of monks and people who come and tell, about the Nibbana. I said, I don't want to be attained Nibbana. I'm perfectly happy here. It's honest, okay? I have no problem here. But my problem I can see because it's not the world problem. I'm the one who's running after it. I said, my only wish, please become enlightened as soon as possible, leave this, then I will have a lot of hard work here to clean this mess. So I'm quite happy to be here. Okay? And everybody who want to be free and attain Nibbana, I really bless you all to do that. And but before that, a little bit be grateful to yourself, okay? Because if you're born in this mess, you won't be able to become Nibbana. Before say at least say goodbye, okay? Say thank you very much for yourself. You follow me? If that samsara is not good for, it won't allow you to be free from it, no? Isn't it? If it trapped you, you won't be able to get out of. If you allow you to do that, all it done, it had kept you. Isn't it all done? Its own ability. And when I blame, I finally I said, thank you very much. I mean, if something goes wrong, I will be in big trouble. Thank you for being healthy, so Lord. You understand? That's how I look at myself. Despite all the things I don't like, at the same time, I always bow to it. Thanks for being so far healthy, everything okay. And you help me to understand my mind. So everybody who want to go attain Nibbana, first please be grateful. Okay? Because as Buddha said, Nibbana is right within you. Okay? The thing that you don't like, keep in the Nibbana, isn't it? This is Buddha's word. If this miserable being good enough to preserve your Nibbana for you, don't you think they deserve a little bit of gratitude? Okay? So be grateful to you. When you get up in the morning, please tell me I be well and happy. And tell other people, if possible, may all the others so. So learn, when you say you want to be grateful to Buddha, do that, start with yourself. Okay, thank you for yourself, preserving this beautiful treasure for us. Okay, it's not only suffering, in this suffering, there's a Nibbana also within me. So when you see the suffering in you, look at the Nibbana there, waiting for you. Okay, this is what the Buddha said, isn't it? So don't look at only one side of the coin. Look at the other side. When you're miserable, look at the good side. And one of the Mahayana monk, beautiful Nagarjuna said, samsara nibbana, all right with him. That's what the Buddha said. So be grateful. This is how I started off Buddha, because he finally helped me to understand my own mess. Okay? He didn't give me a solution, but he helped me to find where it is. So I'm really grateful. All the other things, did market there. If you do, then all if, but, going on, and trap me into more and more conditioning, and helping me to see that how badly I'm conditioned, trapped. I'm very grateful for that, okay? And you also try, if possible, and as I said, please don't be offended with certain thing I said. This is all my thing, okay? So being angry with me not going to help you. All right, thank you. Sabbi buddha bala pachekāna chayam balang arahantana chateje rakkam bandhāni samsu sabbi deva sabbi bhuta sabbi satta chakevata sabbi badrani passantu vāpachita dukkha patta chani dukkha bhaya patta chani bhaya Soka patta jani soka sabbi dipani.